Coming up on this week's St. Joseph Mustangs show, sponsored by Altec, the Mustangs' hot start continues as the playoffs start in less than a month. Plus, the Mustangs honoring a St. Joseph legend, longtime journalist and baseball historian Bob Slater. And a former local high school baseball standout is heading to Northwest Missouri State to continue his baseball career.
Guys want to come here. It's a big attraction. We win a lot. We got a lot of things that other teams in the league don't have.
We've got something very special here in St. Joe. Johnny's a great head coach. He brings in some great players and great people too.
It's just been getting better and better every single summer, and Dan taking a chance on St. Joe people and just proving how awesome these people are.
Welcome into episode 6 of this year's St. Joseph Mustangs show, sponsored by Altec. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. Chris Roush with Anthony Crane. Anthony, it's hard to believe we're already to the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, unless you ask the team that. I think it's been a long few weeks for them.
Long 2 weeks, right? About every day? Yeah.
Now, this past week with the weather and everything, the All-Star game, it was a little lighter load this week, I guess.
It was a weird week, but the Mustangs still playing really good baseball here out of the gate.
Yeah, and like we talked about last week, we saw them and Clarinda going at it again. A great matchup. Both pitched really well. It's a shame we didn't get to see the conclusion of it, but I think as we look forward to the rest of the season, that's a matchup that we look forward to in a couple weeks.
All right, Anthony, let's go ahead and look at the standings here.
As of June 26th, the Mustangs take at 19-3 overall, the best record in the Mink League, and sit at 14-2 in league play. As the calendar turns to July, the Mustangs have just 8 regular season home games left and 9 away games, so 17 games to go. But the Mustangs control their own destiny, sitting at the top of the league, with Clarinda right behind them at 12-3 in the Mink.
Here is the schedule for this week's Mustangs games. The Mustangs off on Monday, but on the road at Chillicothe Tuesday before another day off on Wednesday. On July 3rd, it's a 4th of July weekend celebration, starting with a game at 7 o'clock at Phil Walsh Stadium. Friday, July 4th, another 4th of July celebration, and also Saturday, a continuation of the 4th of July weekend. Fireworks after each of the games. First pitch for all 3 home games set for 7 p.m.
The St. Joseph Mustangs spend a lot of time honoring community members and people who strive to make a difference.
This past Thursday, the Mustangs welcoming members of the Bodie Trust Fund who helped make the video board possible at Phil Walsh Stadium. They surprised one St. Joseph lifer with a pregame honor. When Bob Slater, a St. Joseph Baseball Hall of Famer, showed up to the park on Thursday, he thought he was just there to support the Bodie Trust Fund, because that trust fund helped make the video board possible at Phil Walsh Stadium. But little did Slater know, he became the honoree.
There we go, Bob Slater.
A longtime local journalist with thousands of stories to share, Slater has a special place in the city's heart.
He's truly a gift to St. Joe, and so it's an honor for us to be able to have the Bodie Trust Fund the group here, as well as Bob.
Slater remembers being at Phil Walsh back when it opened up in 1939. He watched some of baseball's greats over the years. And in turn on Thursday, Mustangs fans watched a St. Joseph great throughout the first pitch.
Mr. Slater out here. There we go, Bob Slater. It's a strike.
Well, baseball in St. Joseph has had a long and storied history going back more than 100 years.
And KQ2's Brett Kinney shows us how the Mustangs honor the past with a throwback uniform and an old ball player as well.
The St. Joseph Mustangs baseball team honored a team of the past this past Saturday, the St. Joseph Cardinals. The Cardinals played in St. Joseph in the late 1940s and early 1950s. Former Cardinal and St. Joseph native, 94-year-old Lloyd Duke was honored before the game. Duke signed with the Cardinals at Phil Welch Stadium way back in 1949. He spent time with the St. Joseph Cardinals along with the West Frankfort Cardinals in the 1950 season before he was drafted into the Army for the Korean War.
Got to see Mickey Mantle play here, and then there was a lot of a couple guys went on to the Cardinals and stuff like that, you know. But the main ones was Rocky Nelson with the Pittsburgh, and Jersey Joe was at the Cardinals, and guys like that you get to play with. It was a great life.
After the war, Duke played fast-pitch softball in St. Joseph, along with being a sport referee around the area for years. He's happy to see St. Joe's love for baseball in the community and inside Phil Welch Stadium still thriving as it was all those years ago.
That's the first thing I think of. How's the crowds? It's always been great crowds here. And this ballpark is great. It was built in the early 30s, I think, or 29. And I played on it when I was 10 years old. So and I've played in a lot of ballparks, but this is one of the better ballparks. Love it.
Former St. Joseph Saints general manager and current Mustangs public address announcer Greg Kastner says the Cardinals were the first building block to help make baseball such the staple it is in this city today.
The Mustangs wouldn't be here if the Cardinals hadn't started it from the begin with. And that organization has taken off from there to the Saints to the Mustangs. It was their start that got things rolling. It's only right to pay tribute. There's still a lot of people in the old Diamond Club from back when the Cardinals were here. They're still down, have their season tickets. Jeannie Tudor and the whole bunch and Lyndon Black and all them that were around when the Cardinals started, then started the Saints and Mustangs. So it's a great honor to really put the tribute to where it all began.
Still ahead on the St. Joseph Mustangs show, former local high school baseball standout is heading to Northwest Missouri State. We'll tell you why later on in the show.
And coming up next, kids take over the ballpark, and one Mustangs fan had the opportunity to do a job he's long wanted to do. Stay tuned.
Have you wanted to be in charge of a ballpark?
Sometimes, yes. Have you?
Well, of course.
What would you do if you were in charge of Phil Welch Stadium? Would you be the PA announcer? Would you take Coach Kastner's role?
No, it's too much talking.
Okay.
He's got the voice for it. I don't think I do.
You ever thought about being a mascot?
Yes. Always thought it'd be great.
Well, one kid at Kids Take Over the Ballpark night had that opportunity. Kids Taking Over the Ballpark, a fun night for a lot of young Mustangs fans. Are you working tonight? What are you helping with tonight?
Can you say party deck?
For one Mustangs fan, a night he will never forget. Are you nervous about your job?
No, not at all. It's pretty fun.
Ashton loves to see how Rally interacts with fans at games. So when Kids Take Over the Ballpark came up, he knew there was one job that he would really like. But when he got there, he didn't know what his job would be. So when the Mustang staff told him, Ashton couldn't believe it.
You're going to be working with Aiden tonight as one of our mascots.
Are you nervous? One minute he's getting autographs, the next it's Rally standing next to me instead. Rally really enjoyed dancing, waving the Mustangs flag proudly, and meeting the fans. Kids Take Over the Ballpark night gives these fans a chance to be in the spotlight and create memories that will last a lifetime. Are you going to be good at it? Fun night for a lot of young St. Joseph Mustang fans, but still ahead, KQG's Brett Kennedy sitting down with another member of the Mustangs roster.
And coming up next, former top high school pitcher making his way to Maryville to continue his baseball career. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the St. Joseph Mustang Show, sponsored by Altech. The Mustangs have a lot of local players on their roster, but they aren't the only Minkling team with some local ties here.
Yeah, I caught up with Dylan McIntyre, a Northeast Nottoway kid who's entering his third year of college baseball, and caught up with him, talked about his third year, how it's changed over the last 2 years, what he's learned, and what he's going to take to Northwest with him next year. Dylan McIntyre was a standout football and basketball player during his time at Northeast Nottoway. But McIntyre chose the baseball path post-high school, and after 2 seasons at North Central Missouri, he will now continue his career at Northwest Missouri State University in the fall.
Well, I've always wanted to go to Northwest. It's been the school of my dreams, ever since I was little, just being local and stuff. Especially here recently, going to Trenton was kind of far away from home, so coming back home is definitely super excited for that.
The Bearcats won 27 games last year in Tony Jandron's first season. McIntyre said he keeps close contact with the Northwest head coach.
Jandron seems like a really good guy. He's talked to me a lot, throughout my outings and stuff. I text him after every time I pitch, and he gives me good advice, so I'm looking really forward to that.
McIntyre's kept busy the last 2 summers, playing just across the border with the Clarinda A's.
I've learned a lot of different stuff from a lot of different people. Coaches have taught me a lot, and I've learned a lot from the players too. Just being around them every day, talking about experiences and stuff that they've had, and I learned from them, and just learning from them from situations.
Over 15 innings pitched this season, McIntyre has 16 strikeouts and a 3.60 earned run average.
A lot more confident now, in my stuff. A lot better feel for my breaker. Velos obviously went up over the past couple of years, and just trusting my guys behind me and just being more confident out there in myself just really helps.
Joining me here is first-year pitcher for the St. Joseph Mustangs. It's the East Buchanan alum, Gage Busby. Gage, thanks for joining me, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. How has been your first year here with the team?
It's definitely been super fun. It's definitely an experience that I've never had. I never got the opportunity to play summer baseball much throughout high school, battling with injuries and always playing football. So it's just really fun to have a summer full of baseball. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Talk to me about, you're a Gower guy, East Buchanan alum. I'm sure you went to these games growing up as a kid to Phil Welch. Now you're playing here. Full circle moment for you. What's that been like?
Yeah, so I actually didn't know what the St. Joe Mustangs were until high school. So I never came to games. I was always playing tournaments when I was younger. So weekends, I was always down in Kansas City or somewhere playing tournaments. But once I got to high school, seeing these college guys come out here and play, it means a lot to be able to come play. And now I'm one of those guys, and I know that seeing those younger kids who come to our games and look up to us, we're on the same level as the Royals to them, which just means a lot.
You've been a part of a very dominant pitching staff so far in the Mink League. What's that been like, and what have you learned from some of these veteran guys in the clubhouse here?
Definitely a lot. It's nice to get experience from other guys who come from different programs, who have learned a bunch of different stuff, who've been to multiple schools, who know just know their way around the mound, who know what to do in certain situations. It's definitely helped me gain a lot of experience, and then just trusting other guys. I go out, I have a bad performance, I can trust the other guy who's next to come in and shut down the other team. But yeah, it's just definitely been great to talk to other guys, just gather their opinions on stuff that I might not necessarily know or just have controversial opinions on.
And of course, you reuniting with Bronco Witt, your old East Buck teammate. How has that been? And he's the veteran on this team now, so I'm sure he's taught you some stuff about playing here.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just super fun playing together in high school. I'm just glad to be back with him. I love Bronco, so it's just really fun. Now I get to play with him for the next 2-3 years.
You're transferring to Northwest Missouri State from Missouri Western. You're joining teammate Jace Johnson, who just announced that he's going to the Bearcats as well. What brought about that change for you, and why did you select Northwest?
So obviously everything went down to Missouri Western with our coach getting fired, which that was just tough to hear because I love Stambo. I loved everything that he was about, and just, I didn't want to be at Missouri Western without him. And then a lot of my teammates were leaving too, so it's I was pretty much just coming into a new program again. So, I just thought it'd be better for me to go somewhere else. And then got to talking to Coach Jandron. I loved everything that he had to say, knowing that some of my Mustang teammates and friends were going there too. like it just kind of made it pretty obvious to me what my choice was.
Of course, all these Mustangs connections. He played on the Mustangs as well. How cool is that to now play for him, and he's a former Mustang himself?
It's pretty good because he knows the experience that I'm going through right now. He just kind of seems like, you know, he's a younger dude too, so like he knows everything that's going down here. He's pretty much a part of it.
What are you hoping this summer helps you with pitching-wise playing for the Mustangs here?
Just to get more innings, more experience, just develop my pitches better, just learn pace of play, just stuff like that. Like I haven't faced like real competition much because obviously in high school, like no offense, but we weren't playing the greatest competition. Now I actually get to go out and face these college hitters, and it's just a different experience.
Gage Busby, brand new Northwest Bearcat. Thank you for joining me, sir. Check him out this summer.
Still ahead on the St. Joseph Mustangs show, we still need to take a trip down memory lane and go into the Mustangs vault.
And coming up next, I sit down once again this week with the owner of the Mustangs, Kai Turner. So Kai, if I'm looking for somewhere to go watch some local firework displays this upcoming weekend for 4th of July, where's a good place to go?
Well, you know, Chris, funny you should ask as we sit here in Phil Welch Stadium. We do have 3 nights, July 3rd, 4th, 5th, with post-game Mosaic fireworks, thanks to Mosaic Life Care, so it should be a lot of fun. But, you know, we've got a lot going on. The 3rd, you know, not only do active and retired military get 2 free general admission tickets to that game, we're also going to have pregame skydivers. Slugger, mascot for the Royals, will be here. Fred Bird, mascot for the St. Louis Cardinals, will be here. So that'll be kind of a, where else can you see the 2 of them in one spot? Plus rally.
Yep.
And then we're also going to have a very special pregame military celebration honoring some local heroes on the 3rd. And then, you know, postgame Mosaic Life Care fireworks, which is going to be awesome, July 3rd. And then, you know, the 4th, of course, that one's a lot of fun. We're going to have a little Mr. and Miss Mustang competition. You're ineligible. But, you know, on that evening, you know, active and retired military can get 2 free party deck tickets, right where we're sitting at right now. Hot dog buffet. And then, again, a very special Mosaic Life Care fireworks spectacular on the 5th. Pre-game softball between the fire versus police.
Bob Slater, longtime newspaper reporter, journalist in St. Joseph for years. Also, baseball historian, part of the Bodie Trust Fund. You guys had him out here last Thursday night, honoring him for what him and the Bodie Trust Fund were able to do for the Mustangs and Phil Welch.
Well, you know, the Bodie Trust Fund has done a lot for our community in many different ways. You know, they started the Bodie Sports Complex and some incredible things. They help with the Parks and Rec side of you know, St. Joe. Some incredible gifts, and you know, I can't think of a better person to be a part of that than Bob Slater. Bob, who knows, is so knowledgeable, speaks so eloquently, and shares his stories. You know, he's truly a gift to St. Joe, and so it's an honor for us to be able to have the Bodie Trust Fund, the group here, as well as Bob, who begrudgingly threw out a first pitch. But then afterwards, he asked me why we didn't back him up a little bit further. But that's Bob. But, you know, this July 5th is also extra special for us with the opportunity to raise funds for B&J Skate. You know, unfortunately, their building caught fire, and so many people had so many memories. It's a rite of passage to go B&J Skate and have a birthday party, or just go out there and see how low you can go. A little bit of limbo on skates.
Were you good at that?
I'm not good, but I'm good at having fun. And so B&J Skate Center is a great place to have some fun. And so we do have a special spot on our stjoemustangs.com. Any tickets bought through July 5th. Through that, even if you don't want to go, you can just select your tickets to be donated. 100% of those ticket sales are going to go to support B&J Skate. So a lot of action going on, a lot of fireworks. Those are going to be a lot of fun. Who doesn't like fireworks? Some pets, and I'm sorry to our neighbors. I'll apologize on air.
My dog doesn't.
But other than that, like it's going to be a lot of fun. So, and we've got some extra special stuff going on this weekend.
It's always fun to go back into the vault to see the stories of the past, especially out at Phil Welch Stadium.
Unless it's your past and they make you feel old.
That's true. There's times that I feel very old, but not this time.
And while this moment comes from before the Mustangs, a baseball legend who played at Phil Welch Stadium made his way back to the stadium in 2006. Here are the sights and sounds from the Hall of Famer, Buck O'Neil.
That's gone now. Yeah. Oh, no, that's good. There you go. This is your pick. Come on up here.
Anthony, hard to believe. 6 episodes in the books. That means we're over the halfway point of the Mustang season. Before we know it, playoff baseball will be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're a fan of the Mustangs, it's always an exciting time of the year because you're, a 9-time champion. So, and you're 19-3. It's another year where you're probably headed that way. And it'll be exciting to see who that number 2 team is that can maybe push them. We'll see.
And if you're trying to keep up with all our Mustang stuff, you can go over to social media, our Facebook page, our social media on X, on Instagram, KK2.com to keep up to date on the Mustang show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that'll do it for this week. We'll be back next week, though.
All right, we'll see you then.